only a
BT.
task of that. Yeah.
We're actually down right now. They're changing
Oh,
their
my bad.
streamers. No,
Oh,
it's good. Just wanted to let you know you were talking to nobody right now.
all right. I didn't know. I'll head off then.
It should be back up in a second.
I can just tell him in chat.
All right, yeah, it looks like we are back. Becco, while we have you here, since we've already met our official goal to bring the Japanese guys over, are you excited for AGDQ?
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
So yeah, this is for anyone just joining us. This is JRTA, a community-driven marathon to bring over two of our Japanese friends and speedrunners to AGDQ. You actually just saw one of them, Becca Red, who will be running Mr. Gimmick at AGDQ. Wonderful game. You played it earlier in the marathon. Just always amazes me. And the other runner we have is Ohan, who will be playing Mega Man 6 and having a race of Castlevania 3. We've actually already reached our goal of $4,500, which is what we needed to bring them over. So at this point, we are just collecting additional money for Doctors Without Borders. All of your donations at this point are just going straight to Doctors Without Borders. But we still do appreciate the support if you guys want to put in some donations. And I believe we do still have some incentives to donate for. The Dragon Quest III character name is still available, as well as a few character names for Final Fantasy VI. Next up on the schedule, it looks like we have Resident Evil Director's Cut, Any Percent by Bertin. Bertin, definitely someone who's very anime. Not sure if he'll be joining us for commentary, though.
Actually, hold up. Let me get off of here. Yo.
Hey, Bertin, what's up, man?
What's up?
Hey, Bertin, what's up, man?
What's up?
Not too much, just got done talking to anime.
Yeah, I heard. Alright, so do I sound good? Hello?
I'm not sure what the stream hears. Sloop says he can't hear game sound right now. Also, you're echoing Mumble, but I can just keep quiet during the run if that's going to be an issue.
Yeah, my my headsets pick up everything. Yeah, I guess you'll just have to do that. If you can't hear the game sound, hold on. It's really quiet on the main menu. Just to just make sure. Just let me know if you heard that. Oh, I wasn't echoing? I don't know, I guess that's just sent then. Well, anyway, I'm ready to go. Whenever y'all are. Countdown. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright then, so this is Resident Evil 1 for PS1 Director's Cut. So I don't have the Japanese version of the game, but it doesn't really make that big of a difference if you choose to play Japanese or not. For the Japanese version of the game, it's actually defaulted at the easy difficulty, which you can take a lot more damage than normal, and some bosses take a little less hits than on normal. But the reason I choose training is because training is pretty much easy, but it gives you a little bit more benefits than just the original Japanese version's
Chris?
default difficulty. And one of the things is it gives you double ammo. Although I really don't need that double ammo for when I'm actually using my gun, it'll pretty much ensure that I'll have enough for any boss. So first, gonna go check out see the zombie and turn around and just leave. Now when we go back in the hallway, Jill dropped her pistol, but we're really not gonna need that because we already have a knife, and what's so manly about using a gun when you got a knife? So we'll just leave that gun in the hallway and just, you know, keep on moving.
Wesker? Jill?
I know since this is classic Rari, there are no skipping cutscenes.
What happened to Jill and Wesker?
Now we will go get that pistol later, but we just don't need it right now. Now one of the first things I'm going to do here is I'm going to push this statue that has a blue gem in the statue's hands, knock it down from the top floor to the bottom floor, which allows me to go get it later. But there's a zombie in my way while I'm pushing it, and you can't push anything while a zombie's in your way, so we're gonna cut him up a little bit, make him fall down. And there we go. Actually went really nicely. Best case for zombies when using a knife, you can take up to 2 slashes before he drops, and the worst is 4, so 3 is about basic. Alright, and this room holds one of the keys that I need, but we're gonna have to watch this cutscene with Rebecca first.
Whoa! What is it?
With the top tier voice acting, of course.
What? Oh! Oh no! Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
You must be from the Bravo team.
Yes, I'm Rebecca. Rebecca Chambers. I'm a newcomer. I just joined the Stars Bravo team last month. Well, I'm really sorry. Are you all right?
Yeah, what's up, S.J.?
I'm Chris Redfield from the Alpha team. Are you the only person here from the Bravo team?
Well, because the helicopter made a forced landing, I just ran into this house anyway.
I want to take a
but
guess she sprayed him with a first aid spray.
I see.
But I don't know.
There's
It's probably
nothing else
mace.
you could have done anyway.
If I were to take a guess.
You're here.
What else would a medic have?
Yes, sir. But it's strange. I serviced the helicopter recently, but something went wrong with the engine.
Oh, and on my way out,
was such a
she's gonna
short
ask if
trip.
she can come along, and choosing yes or no does actually change a couple of things. I'm gonna tell her no for the fact that she'll actually pop up,
What should I
and you'll
do
have to
now?
actually take control of her and
If
do
you
a
go
little
out
bit of
to
extra
search for the other
things.
members, how about letting me come with you?
So instead, I'm gonna tell her no.
It's pretty dangerous.
One
outside.
example
Let
is
me take
when I'm
care
fighting
of it.
Plant 42,
I understand.
I'll get
For
captured,
now,
and I'll have to
be
do this
here.
little
Since
side
there are a
quest
lot
of
chemicals in this
making
room
a
and it
chemical
might be
that'll
useful.
cut the
Well,
boss's HP
I'll
by
look
half
over the
and drop
chemicals.
Chris since he's, restrained by its tentacles. Triax couldn't make it. Really, most of the MAC couldn't make it.
I'm the only one that can actually stay up.
Weird considering your new job.
It's pretty close. I almost wanted to fall asleep.
Well, this is before actual regular movement controls were made. Those really weren't introduced until RE Remake, and I think they didn't really even give you that option until the PC version. I don't even think that was on GameCube.
Nah, there's still tank controls on GameCube too.
Yeah. So it wasn't until then where they gave you that luxury. I don't know. A lot of people hate tank controls, but you'll get used to it eventually, and it's not that big of a deal. Like, if you want a good example, go play some Onimusha.
Oh man.
Good PS2 game.
I think
It's
even
me,
those who
Chris.
run the current HD remake even still prefer their tank
Is that
controls.
you, Rebecca?
Like, I know in speedruns they're actually better to use the normal controls for the PC version.
It's the Moonlight Sonata.
Can you play?
Okay, yeah. And even though I told her to stay in the room, she pops up for this part anyway. But you actually will need her here because she's gonna sit here and try to play the Moonlight Sonata. She'll fail it, then she'll ask if she can stay around to practice it. And then we come back later, and then after she plays it, actually the way you're supposed to, something will happen.
Wait, what is that?
My interpretation is off a little. Chris, may I practice for a while?
See? Just relax and play.
All right.
And if everything goes my way, when I come back, that'll be the last time we see Rebecca. Unfortunately. This is the bad ending. So neither Rebecca nor Jill will be saved. Alright, so now we're actually going to pick this gun up here. We're not going to use it yet, but we're going to keep it on us and store it into one of the boxes and then pick it up later. So pretty much what I'm getting at here, when I get to Plant 42, I'm going to knife him completely. But straight after Plant 42, it's going to be pistol for the rest of the game. And actually using a knife for the first half of the game is actually not too bad. Although Plant 42 can be a little bit of a nuisance since whether him attacking you or not is completely luck based. But I'll get into that later.
Well, along the way, you don't really kill that many enemies, right?
Nah, it's really just dodging zombies and doing what I gotta do.
So you only kill when you have to.
Pretty much. Every zombie can be dodged. This is where we're gonna store the gun away. Oh, and another thing I didn't mention. There are some differences between Chris and Jill. One of the most notable things that I know is the fact that Jill has 2 more inventory spaces than Chris does. So it's widely considered that Jill is actually the easier character to pick up and play as. Not to mention that she actually gets every gun that Chris gets and she even gets one more. She gets a grenade launcher that has 3 types of ammo with it. I'm going to use a glitch right here. It's called pause canceling. What I just did right there is I pulled my knife out, put it in a ready stance, and I swung at him. And after the confirmation of a hit through like blood squirting everywhere, I paused and unpaused, and the animation of me swinging the knife is canceled out. But since the zombie gets hit stunned from the hit of the knife, I can just run past him, and he won't be in his stance that he usually has to grab you. Meaning if you do it right, you can pretty much pass any zombie that's just in a really tight, narrow hallway like those. Standing in front of doors. They work best with zombies. Most of the other enemies, they don't work so well. You can also do it with a gun. You don't have to use a knife for it. Just anything that has sort of like a attack animation and can hit stun them. Doing it too early, though, will leave you open. So you have to sort of practice the timing with it. Alright, this little tiger room is where I'm going to start using the blue gem. This is the whole reason of dropping a statue from the top floor at the beginning of the run. So I use a little crest right here. I'm going to have to collect 4 of these to get into the entrance of the backyard. So pretty much everything I'm doing right now is just all leads up to collecting crusts. And since Chris has nowhere near as many inventory slots as Jill, for somebody who wanted to play a little bit safe in their runs, really couldn't do so since Chris is pretty much filled up with key items. Ugh. Okay, that usually doesn't happen. One real nice thing is, if you get grabbed by a zombie in one room, every other zombie that tries to grab and bite on you will only bite you one time and you can just shake them off immediately. And yeah, those little tentacle plants right there. If I would have tried to cross, they would just slap me. Ooh. In that room where the box was, there was a this chemical that kills the plants. Ooh. And there are 2 zombies in the game you can sort of juke like that. You can sort of move to the left and swerve over to the right. Them having their backs completely turned to you will turn to whichever direction you're sort of closer to. So if you're coming from the left, they'll try to face you from that direction.
Chris!
So you can sort of bait them into going into that direction and just move into the other, and they'll completely miss you.
You like it?
And even though you're completely unseen, zombies who have their backs turned to you, they sort of slowly turn to the left or the right, and they'll eventually see you behind them. So you could also use that to your advantage. And I found that that's actually random which direction they turn to if you don't make a move.
Oh, that was great.
What is that?
Now, is it time for when Rebecca learns Moonlight Sonata and able to play it well?
Yes. Well, she can read music, but she's just a little rusty.
Yeah.
Hopefully this will be the last time I see her. Now the possibility of me seeing her again is if I get bit by the snake, but that's actually coming up real soon. Alright, so next place I gotta go to is the snake I was mentioning before. Okay, so there's this giant snake in this little shack. Looks like an attic. But there's a crest on the other side of the room and the snake comes out. Now, if you get bit by this snake, you get poisoned 100% of the time. If you do get bit by the snake and get poisoned, a cutscene will play and Rebecca will just take you back to her room where you first met her. So it's not absolute killer if I get bit there, but you know, you lose time if it happens. Now, this is like one of the biggest reset points when I'm actually doing speedruns of this game, but I've adopted a much more consistent way of doing it. The way that I do it, I just charge. But the more marathon safe way, I'll show you in a second. Alright, so his first lunge missed, so that's a good sign. So this is all you come here for, is for this crest. Now, I could just run back out, but it's very risky to do so since it's a very, very tight movement that you have to make. Now, the marathon's safe way of doing it is waiting for the snake to get here. Even though he gets stuck, all the AI is like programmed to fix themselves within a certain time frame, so upon doing so, I got bit still. Okay. Very, very unlikely that it happens, but what happened there is the way his body is put there, he can make it real tough for you to try to get out of that room or get out of that little space there.
Am I poisoned? Damn it, give me serum.
So it's not completely over, but just gotta watch some more cinematics because it happened. Just really weird. In the Spookathon, that went perfect. So I guess it was about I was due for screwing it up. Alright, I promise. This is the last time we see
Is
Rebecca.
that you, Rebecca?
Chris, are you all right?
Yeah. What happened?
You were bitten by a poisonous snake. Are you okay?
My head is killing me.
I think you'll be all right because I gave you a shot. But please stay out of trouble.
You saved my life. I owe you one.
Yeah, owe you one just by leaving you. That isn't the last time we see the snake, by the way. Eventually I'll have to actually kill it, but that's not until later on. Now, if I actually did get out there without getting bit, I could. The next room I actually have to go to is like in that exact same hallway. So it's pretty unfortunate that the snake bite happened, but you can easily make it back over there, dodging all enemies, not getting in any trouble at all. Most of these hallways are pretty empty on the way back. One of the things that can make it a little bit tricky to do the pause cancel is some of these hallways have some crazy depth perception that can really fool anyone who's really trying to do a successful pause cancel. I didn't even bother with it there. But pretty much for the rest of the mansion, at this point in the game, it's just doing puzzles to get the rest of the crust pieces. Now for this room, you have to put these statues over these vents. If you do press the switch in the middle without covering the vents, poisonous gas comes out. You have to leave the room and try it again.
gas poison you?
I think it just damages you, which is crazy. Like, I think the snake is the only thing that can poison you while you're in the mansion until you leave for the warehouse. And there's a lot of stuff that can actually poison you in the warehouse.
Oh yeah. Guess that's why they gave you so many blue herbs out there.
Yeah. Which is funny because it's really easy to just go back out into the warehouse without getting touched at all. And poison really is like threatening as poison sounds, it actually cannot kill you. All it really does is drain your life, and it can't go lower than 1. It can put you in a position to get killed, but that's all it can really do. So if at any point I get poisoned in this game, outside of this part, like, I wouldn't worry about it. Now this puzzle right here is just hitting these switches behind these paintings that pretty much go in the order of a boy growing from baby to infant to child to man to middle-aged man to old man. Now if you do this wrong, you see those crows up there? They come down and attack you. I have no clue how these crows know that you did the puzzle wrong, but they just do.
Seems like you get punished harshly just for messing up puzzles.
Yeah. Alright, so that's all the crust. And as you can see in my inventory, I have no room for anything else. There are only 2 points of the game where your inventory will be filled up like that. Gonna have to re-equip my knife because I got bit by the snake and unequipped all my weapons. Wow. Okay, he was in the perfect position to completely stonewall me. He was in the perfect position to stonewall me even though I pause canceled there. That can't happen. Another method you could do that is just keep backing up, but I went for the pause cancel instead. Whoa. Nice menu. And that's pretty much all that was for. Even though there's a dog sitting right there, he can pretty much do nothing to you if you're quick enough. Now you're going to see a lot of dogs from this point in the game. And the dogs are very weird. Because you could be directly in their sight, but they actually won't go aggressive until you start running for the most part. And there's a certain section where I'll actually take advantage of that. For most of them, you can just take off running, you'll be completely safe for the most part. Now one of the luck-based parts is when I return back here with the battery. Depending on the dog's positions will determine on how many times I get hit, because there's some camera angles that makes it completely blind on where I run to. And if they're facing me, coming towards me, there's a really good chance they'll get a few hits on me. But the dog's damage output isn't even that great in the first place. Here's another example. Those little tiny snakes can poison you, but as long as you keep running, they'll completely miss you. It did make them a lot tougher to dodge in a remake.
Oh. Always fun having that random snake drop on you and poison you.
Yup. Alright, so this little area right here is where I'm going to take advantage. I'm going to just walk up to the next screen transition and then take off. See how the dog didn't notice and start running until I started dashing? It's just perfect. That dog comes around the corner just like that every time. If you take off too early, however, it'll be a little bit different. Alright, there's actually quite a bit of bathtubs around the mansion that have dirty water in it. You have to unplug it and you'll get like some key. But this is really the only one where you have to actually do it, since there's actually a main item in there that you need. The rest are usually just small keys that just open up these little bookcases, or whatever they're called, that have ammo inside. And this part can be really painful because there's 2 zombies here. And I found that it's a lot easier to manage if you actually go into that door where I just came from and then take off there, because it gives you a little more time to take off there and go after the book and then come back. Since the zombie a little bit farther away doesn't really notice you until later, but the first zombie will probably grab you a couple times before you can actually move and take the book. Worst case, they can sort of chain grab you and take turns biting you, and you'll take about 5 or 6 bites, I think I've taken at the worst. So it can be a lot worse than that. There's actually bees in this beehive, but they take forever to come out, so you can just go up there, grab it, and just leave. If I remember correctly, there's actually something like take care of the bees in the beehive, but you really don't need it. You can just go ahead and skip it. And those bees there can also poison you. But you have to really, really screw up to actually let them get on you and actually hit you. So anybody here like watching Chris push boxes? Because this is a very long hallway that has 3 boxes, and there's a lot of box pushing here.
My favorite. No way to speed it up either.
Nope. Ooh. Kind of use a visual cue there to know when to stop pushing that box, because you can do it a little bit too much and it can actually screw you up. You'd have to reset the positions of all the boxes by leaving and coming back. Gonna take me a safety herb here. Use this and take the second one. Haven't been really lucky with Plant 42's luck as of late, but not gonna take unnecessary risks. Now, this place is completely flooded, and that's because the place in the middle is actually a shark tank, and there's actually 3 sharks swimming around here. But as long as you go from straight from that door and straight to this door, they'll never reach you or do anything to you. And once you reach this room, you can drain the water, and they'll be completely harmless to you. Ah, the chilling sounds of water. Alright, so all that was is push the switch that opened the locked door in the very next room that has another key. And there's actually a lot of ammunition in this room, but we won't be needing any of that. You'll see the sharks flopping about right there. You can actually kill them if you knife them or pretty much do any attack that hits It'll kill him in one hit.
Weak as hell with no water.
Exactly. Alright, so that key will take us to the room that will also take us to the room to where Plant 42 is. Our first real actual boss. If you didn't want to count running away from the snake as a boss. Which you could treat as a boss, but you can't kill him there. If you do enough damage to him, he'll just run away. And this is what we got that red book on that bed for. Now right here is the part I was talking about. As soon as I enter this room here, and this cutscene plays, instead of Chris just getting thrown down on the ground, he gets sort of just grabbed and Plant says, "I'll just keep you." Rebecca shows up and then you have to control her and make a solution that stops the Plant from doing that. But we don't have Rebecca, so we're kicking it solo here. Ooh. Oh my god. Wow, this luck is... Alright, it looks like it's getting a little more calm here. Yeah, that was a little scary for a moment, I'm not gonna lie. He sort of shrivels up first and then he'll come back again. His tentacles just fall off one by one. Nice. Take that. Okay, believe it or not, that was actually better than any other Plant 42 I've had in practice. Alright, so that's the last bit of knife action you guys are gonna see. The rest of the game is pistol.
Wesker!
Chris, you're alive.
My words exactly. Where's Jill? Aren't you with Jill?
I'm sorry. We were attacked by a strange monster. I lost track of her while we were scouting around. I hope she's okay.
I see. Well, it's not your fault. This place is crazy. If we stay here, all of us will end up dead. What should we do, Wesker?
We have to complete this mission. Whether we escape or stay and look for Jill.
I love these
We
cutscenes
don't
and
have
I
many
love these
bullets
voice
left, and we
actors.
can't even protect ourselves. We're still in trouble. Chris, there are a lot of locked rooms in
Top
that
tier
house.
stuff.
Check them out one more time.
If you want to know what
We
drives
mustn't
me to run
lose
this
the hut
game,
safely.
it's
I'll
this.
look around the house a little more.
Okay.
Let's get going.
And if you wonder what he was shooting bees out of the air with a gun. We always take this first aid spray. Now the very next thing I'm gonna do, we're gonna see the snake once again, but this time we're gonna have to kill him. Just ensure that I have full health for the boss. It can be a little sketchy at times, but what can make him a little bit of a pain to try to keep shooting him is he'll sort of, how do I say it? He'll be in his usual low position, but he'll also sort of arc up like a cobra does, and he'll switch between doing that and being a little bit low, and that can be a little bit painful for aiming. But another thing I like to mention when I get to that boss is there's a way you can actually shoot a little bit faster than what the game intends for you to do. Sort of like a rapid fire glitch. Or, I don't know, it might be just a exploit of the animation of firing. But while you're firing, if you hold the shoot button, not the aim button, but the shoot button, and then hold the aim button, while you shoot, and if you do it at just the right time and tap the aim button, you'll actually cancel your animation for after the shot, and you'll just keep shooting instead. So it pretty much just cuts down on cooldown time. And I believe that the snake takes 18 shots. Oh, and also, how could I forget? The hunters start to show up and they replace every zombie in the mansion.
What are they? Monsters? Rebecca! Is she still in the house?
Now, even though I told Rebecca to stay in that room, for some reason she'll come out once you go near it. Oh, man. Okay, that wasn't supposed to happen. Hold up. I was supposed to use that herb before I went in that room. Sort of played it too safe there. If you have full health and you try to use a herb, they won't let you do it. But I actually need this book. Ooh. Now, dodging the hunters are a little bit tricky compared to the zombies. One of the things that you can possibly do is if you're in a narrow hallway and Chris is sort of running towards the wall but sort of in a diagonal fashion, the way that the hunters attack can completely miss. One of the ways is here, but this one's a little trickier than the others. Yeah, like that. And this is the room where we'll be fighting Jan, which is the official name for the snake.
I'm yawning myself.
Ah, man, you gotta stay up.
No. I got this.
See those rate of fire? These are some good hits. That was probably the best yawn fight I've had in my life. I am not joking. That rapid fire that I was pulling off was on point compared to how I've been playing. So I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back for that one. So yeah, that's a really good example of how useful rapid firing can really be. It can make something even like a pistol seem really powerful if you can utilize it correctly. It can work with other weapons as well, but the timing is different. It all depends on the animation of the attacks. Like, you can even do it with a knife. Alright, this zombie's playing dead. We're just gonna stomp his head off. And this room, right around this corner, has a battery in it, which you'll have to take to fix an elevator. And go back to the courtyard. Now, if I do this correctly, I'm going to try to pause glitch with a gun. Right on. Now, this is the disadvantage of playing the English version, besides text. Since I have extra ammo, I actually need this extra inventory for some key items, so that extra 15 bullets in that clip, I'm gonna have to use that up. So this leaves me with 15 bullets for the rest of the game. Now luckily for me, there's nothing else that I have to shoot until Tyrant. Now since I'm doing bad ending, I don't have to do the second Tyrant fight. The first Tyrant fight is actually laughable. You can actually down the first Tyrant with 12 pistol bullets. So that leaves me 3 extra pistol shots to take him out. Now if I do miss those more than 3 shots, then I'm done. Because there's no other forms of attacking going up to that point. So that is one thing you need to keep in mind. Oh man. Do have a first aid spray. Just go ahead and use that. Now I'll get another one in the cave, so. Yep, there's another example of dodging a hunter just by moving diagonally and hugging the wall. It's so nice because when I was casually playing this game, those were the most annoying enemies in the game for me.
That goes for everybody.
If you did not know where to go in this game, they would literally take advantage of you just being lost. Just slowly slash your ankles.
Not to mention slicing your head off.
Oh yeah, their jump attack. Oh boy. Luckily I can proudly say I've never been decapitated by a hunter in a speedrun. There's a hunter who says hi, but we're just gonna pass by him. He's too busy just shrieking at me to do anything. Now, here's a blind dodge I have to do here. And that went well. All you really need to do is run forward a little bit and then just swerve over to the left. He'll miss you. But just the timing of when you have to move to the left, you just have to get sort of a feel for it. Now here's the part I was mentioning before where the dog's positions will determine on how many times I get hit here. But it's once I go down the floor. Usually the dogs around here stay the same, but the dogs down there, their positions have changed for me too many times. So Shay, you hyped for RE2 remake?
Yes.
It's supposed to be releasing Zero too. I never played that.
I think Zero comes out early next year. Probably 2, the remake of 2 next year, the following year rather.
Okay, that's a more favorable position. Although this dog has been chasing me like all the way from the beginning. One of the worst ones is the 2 dogs that were on the screen on my way to the battery. One of them could be, you know, sort of walking towards the battery. That's one of the worst ones you can get. Usually when that dog sees you, the dog next to him will as well. More than likely you won't leave that whole screen without getting bit 2 or 3 times. At least I can't. Whoops. Muscle memory got me there. Alright, gonna close the gate, which brings the water up here back. But the waterfall in the lower area will uncover a cave, which we'll have to go into. So that's the whole reason of getting the battery and fixing that elevator. Oh, nice. I usually get bit there a couple times too, because of some blind dodges I have to take. And yeah, the dogs can't get on the elevator where you're at, so that's actually a little safe haven. Even though they try their hardest to bite you. Now this part of coming after this cutscene with Enrico, this can get a little bit scary because there's this crank I have to get in that room, which is a second crank, believe it or not, which is actually different than the one I already have. But right after that, there's a hunter that pops up, and there's a hunter right in front of the exit of that room. Now, the hunter over at the door doesn't know that I'm there yet. Use this. But the first hunter, you have to sort of dodge him but bait him into attacking at the same time, because the hunter over at the door, even though he doesn't notice that you're there, if you take too long to get over to the crank and grab it, he'll see Enrico. You and keep attacking you. And while you're picking something up, you can be interrupted.
What happened? Double
And if he hits you, the hunter that you just ran past will come up to you and also keep attacking you. And it just becomes just a big mess trying to pick that crank up. Because all you really need to do is pick up the crank and leave.
Is someone there?
So it's actually better to just leave that room and come back to the reset their positions.
What did he mean by that?
If you're lucky, one of them will jump attack. Ah, he didn't do it. Yep. Okay. I'm gonna have to reset their positions. Although I did dodge him, for some reason he didn't try to take a swing at me. He sort of ran forward for some reason. Alright. And as you can see, the positioning of the camera is not that good, because you can see that hunter's backside is completely on the camera. But you have to just run forward and just mash confirm, and he'll eventually try to pick it up. Wow, that hunter usually hits me too. Alright, so we're done with that mess. Next up is a big spider boss named Black Tiger. Now, unlike Jan, you don't have to kill him. But there's about 5 layers of web on the door right across from him. And I'm going to pick up a flamethrower and try to burn that off. Now, the spider isn't just going to sit there and let you do it. He's going to try to attack you. And he'll shoot like this acid webbing at you. Now, the webbing doesn't hurt, but it can poison you. So the worst that can happen is I can come out of there poisoned. But first, this boulder. Oh, and the best music in the game, but we won't get to hear that too long. That's definitely worse than what I've been doing in practice. At the most, he'd hit me 2 times, I think, in practice. So more than likely, I'm probably poisoned here. Yep. I have to put the flamethrower here to open this door anyway, so had to take it even if I wasn't going to use it to burn the web. But luckily for me, there's no enemies around this area, so I'm not in danger of dying at all. And there are some blue herbs on my way out, so I have to crank this part 3 times. It'll be this room where I have to do this little statue pushing puzzle. Now that boulder back there, that won't roll until you get too close to it, so that's another thing you don't have to worry about. And I think the only thing back there where that boulder is magnum rounds. And like I have a magnum right now to even use. Alright, looks like depth perception didn't get the best of me there. Because that can be real deceptive on where you need to position yourself to stick that crank in. There's actually a little time saver, leaving just a little bit of the statue open to where you can push it forward. Otherwise you have to go all the way around, push it to the left a little bit so you can actually push it forward. So as you can notice while I'm poisoned, you can see my health's going from like green to yellow. So poison's just slowly sapping away my health, but the blue herb is right out here. My inventory is full, so I'm just gonna have to use my book right here. And inside these books are these metals that you use for this right here, which will open the way for the secret lab. Alright, so this is the final section of the game if you haven't guessed it. And really, since I'm doing the bad ending, there really isn't that much to do here compared to as if I was playing the good ending. Luckily for me, these 2 zombies here don't prioritize on grabbing. They prioritize on trying to puke on you, which is way easier to dodge than a zombie that tries to grab you. There are a couple of zombies in the game who do that. Even though you're running like right in front of them, they don't grab, they just try to puke on you.
At least there's no crimson heads.
Yeah. So glad for that. Those things are luck based too, once you wake them up. Like they appear in like some random part of the room. Alright, so this is probably, when I speedrun this game, this is probably my chat's favorite part of the game because of how goofy the animations are when you actually figure out what the password is. Login is John, the password is Ada. I'll have to insert another password to open the basement 2 door. And that password is mole. I really gotta say, this John dude has picked probably the most terrible password you can probably think of. I know. Let me put my girlfriend's name as my password. Nobody will guess that.
Common passwords. So silly.
It's like putting your bank pin account as your birthday or something. What, you tell me you don't fist pump when you figure out somebody's password? Alright, so this is probably one of the last zombies I have to dodge. I have no knife, so have to keep backing up. He's supposed to. There we go. That's a pretty basic tactic you can use to dodge zombies in Resident Evil. Have them see you and just keep backing up, and eventually they'll turn over to the left or the right and you can just run forward. Now, there's a good chance I'll get hit quite a few times in this room right here. These are some pretty annoying enemies here. Alright, no hit there, so that's good. There's a couple where I've not figured out a way to dodge them because there's this really narrow hallway. Well, dang. I don't think that's ever happened to me. Another thing I like to mention, Jill actually runs faster than Chris, so she probably doesn't even have these problems with these enemies like that. Chris just has all the problems in the world. She can probably skip the snake easier too if I were to take a guess. Alright, so elevator's up. We can take that straight over to Tyrant. And that'll be our final fight. And of course I have to escape the lab, but... Oh man, what am I doing? I think that was about... Man, how many hits was that? I think my health is actually pretty bad right now. Let me take a quick peek. Oh. Caution. Okay, I'm good. Alright, for those of you who are fans of Wesker's voice actor, you're about to hear a lot of him here. I have this really neat little setup with Tyrant where I get him stuck behind Wesker's dead body.
Chris, as my subordinate, you have wonderful talent.
I would never work for a company like Umbrella. And Wesker, you were formerly with Umbrella.
What do you mean?
Since when have you been an Umbrella agent? And a traitor to the stars?
Now you're wrong. I was formerly with Umbrella, yes. But now I'm prepared to face anything. Even getting rid of you vigilante stars.
Now, the worst possible situation has occurred. The failure of the experiment created a virus, a biological weapon, polluting the entire lab.
No, the worst happened with the Tyrant virus. I lost some of my STARS team members because
You killed them with your own hands. Did you kill Enrico?
Enrico? I'll destroy the stars myself, including you. The fact is, Umbrella does not know what to do with the Tyrant virus. We have orders to blow up this laboratory, and it's not a bad idea. But I think we should save this important research for future use.
You think you can disappear with such important material?
Would you like to see it? Come with me. Sorry for my lack of manners, but I'm not used to escorting men. Now, walk.
Am I the only person when I see Wesker in that stance, it looks like he's being really sassy?
His hand on his hip.
Exactly.
Is this?
That's right. This is the ultimate life form. Tyrant. Chris? Stop it.
Wesker, you're pitiful. This is your savior? You say this failure is your savior?
You can make sure yourself whether Tyrant is a failure or not.
Probably the only time you hear Wesker just say stop it. So good, man. Alright, so how this setup's gonna work, I'm gonna run just completely straight, have a visual cue to
Go
just
to
stop at,
Jill will join you too.
turn around, and wrap around the left side of
What?
Wesker's body and stand on the other
Don't
side.
come this way! No!
Now how it works is, Tyrant's gonna have to take a swing at me and completely miss. If he misses, it'll all go all good, but if he hits me, then setup won't work just as well.
You can't kill me.
There we go. Get my pistol. That was a hot fight. That was a hot fight. Exactly as Keikaku.
Translation note, Keikaku means plan.
Yeah. So now all I really have to do after taking Wesker's keys is just leave. Jill is actually locked up somewhere in the lab, and I can use this key to save her, but I actually do have to do a little bit extra in order to go get her. Since there's these extra locks that, for some reason, the master lab key cannot open. And these guys show up instead of the zombies for some strange reason. Oh my god. Okay, I get puked on by every zombie on the way out. And bit. Okay, it's fine. There's no enemies left, so... I mean, it doesn't matter at this point, like... Give it your best shot. I'll just take it all.
Last resort.
Yeah, exactly. I seriously don't know what those things are called. When I first saw them, I thought they were midgets, mutant midgets or something.
I think they're chimeras.
That's what they're called?
I think so.
Where's the lion head? That thing is a chimera. Well, that reveals what I know. She knows about this game more than me.
Whoa, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah. Nah, those aren't liquors. Liquors don't show up till Resident Evil 2. Alright, so after I go up this elevator, there's this flare I have to pick up, and I just use it, and as soon as you see the flare take off, that's time. Now, if I was doing good ending, I'd have to fight Tyrant up here, and he's a lot tougher than he is down there in the lab. I'm still in caution. What? Zombies must not have did anything. Time.
Give the stream just a second here, just to catch up. Looks like a 106.16 or so.
Alright. Yeah, that'll do. As long as I didn't die, I'm good.
Bertin, I actually had a question about the game, but I just couldn't find the moment in the run.
Oh, you could have asked me anytime. There was a lot of downtime.
Just, what made you want to run Resident Evil? I mean, it's kind of a weird choice, I guess, in a lot of people's minds for a speedrun.
Well, I actually had plans on running it last year for the Spookathon, which is a Halloween speedrun marathon that actually happened last week. But I didn't have the time last year to learn it, so I just postponed it till this year. But it actually came. I was actually interested in doing the run more than just doing it for just a Halloween themed marathon. I went ahead and got the actual game disc and everything.
And I mean, does anyone else run it? What's your PB? What's the record?
Oh, my PB? My PB currently is a 102, I believe. But a lot of things went wrong for me in this run, so I didn't expect to really match that. Played it safe in a lot of areas. Made it a little more marathon friendly, if you will. I can skip these credits. I just want to see what my in-game time is. And as you can see, confirmed bad ending because Tyrant's shadow shows up as you fly away. The lab is supposed to explode too. But yeah, pretty much Rebecca dies from a hunter. Jill stays locked up in a jail cell, so she probably just dies from hunger. Okay, yeah, to 106.24. From what I've seen, the other RE runners go by in-game time. So as of the other RE runners, everyone that I've seen runs Jill. Going back to your question about why I ran this, one of the things that really gravitates me to a speed game is if I see one category getting a lot of attention and one getting next to none. Because I really like trying to jump in a game that has not been done by anybody at all to see if I can add anything to it. I think at a total besides me there's only 4 other people who submitted to Chris on speedrun.com, so, and I think Jill has at least 10. And like I said, that's because Jill is the easier run to.
Right, no, that's respectable. And intentionally taking the less played characters, see what you can do with it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. I unlocked the infinite launcher because I beat the game under 2 hours, but as you can see, that was easy. Alright. Alright, I say, let's blow this popsicle stand.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
So coming up next, we have Nightmare, who's going to be running Snapshot, cool little game about taking pictures, putting them in other places. And thanks to your guys' generous donations, he's going to be doing all levels instead of any percent.